Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Going Rounds podcast. And my hat's all jacked up. It's this is because I'm in a hurry. I've been in a hurry. Just slacking. Not really my fault though. I'm trying to mess with everything, get everything ready. Okay, so yeah, I by the skin of my teeth here, I'm making it. Is that a thing? Is that a real thing? I don't know. Is that a real saying? It sounds very stupid, but I think everyone knows what I mean. Um, Yeah, I'm here. I made it. And just bear with me while I get all my shit together. Yeah, I'm back. Had a vacation this week. If you watched last week, you know that I was going out of town, going on vacation instead of just out of town for work. But yeah, had a good time in Vegas, celebrating my wife's birthday. She deserves to be celebrated, so we, you know, went out and had a good time. Met up with a few friends that were out there too, and you know, made it the best we could and had some great food and some good times and obviously good drinks. I always got to have a good drink. Old fashions all day. But yeah, it was a good week and I was off Monday, Tuesday, so yesterday was my first day back at work and I'm like, ugh, dying, not wanting to be there. But I got through it. And today was just a weird day and I was at a kind of remote location over by uh over by Phoenix. So, I one of those ones that should have taken an hour. It's like an hour and a half, I think hour and 45-minute drive there, maybe a little more. And it should have just been an hour of work and then come back, but some people don't know how to do their jobs correctly. So I had to wait a long time just to I was pretty much standing around waiting. So, I was getting stuff ready for the podcast. I should have taken my laptop with me. I wouldn't have been in such a rush. So, I'm hoping for no technical difficulties, considering seems like when I rush, I always have a problem. That's what happens, so right? Uh Lots of stuff going on this week with combat sports, UFC. My stomach's making all kinds of noise. Everything's off right now. I don't know what's going on. But we'll get through it. I just gotta be happy with my hat because it's like, I don't know, could just be me. It looks like it's all crooked and slanted, and I usually have all this taken care of, but yeah, uh, I was gonna change the lighting in the back too, and I didn't even do that. I didn't turn off my front light, turn on my front light. You know what I mean? I'm all out of sorts, but it's okay. So yeah, last week was was juggling my phone around, watching the fights, pay per view. It was earlier in the day, so I had to watch, obviously. Uh, but it was a pretty decent fights. It Nothing too crazy or spectacular, but at the same time interesting and fun to watch. Regardless, wasn't the same outcome as last time Edwards and Usman fight, but it was still good. It was still a good fight, and yeah, we'll get into that in a little bit. Then we got another UFC fight this week. Every week, the grind. It just keeps going with them. But every week there's fights. And then I say that, and then next week there is no fights. They're gonna take a week off, and then we'll have another big pay per view, which isn't bad because they had two pay per views this past month. So the first one in April will come after a 1 week layoff, so not too bad. And obviously, I'll still have some content. Um, I'm sure there's other things going on. Everything's been so crazy for me the past week and a half or so that I like I don't even know what's coming up. Usually I'm looking ahead, making sure I know what's happening, getting guests if I want guests and stuff like that. I haven't done any of it. So I'm thinking obviously I'll probably try to have the guests going for the pay-per-view fight. We'll see how that goes and what's up with that. I'm sure Clark will come on, see if we can get Patrick on for that one or something like that. Next week, I don't know what I'm doing next week. I'm gonna have to start looking at that after I'm done here because I need to plan some stuff out and see what's happening. See what other kind of events are out there. I know this week we got a little bit of boxing. I'm gonna just preview that for a second. Nothing too in depth. But yeah, what else we got? Just some other random news, combat sports news, and the usual. Hopefully everyone else is doing good out there. The chat's open, so if you guys got questions or comments or opinions or anything like that, hit me up. I always engage with the chat whenever someone's in there. And yeah, don't forget to subscribe if you're watching if you haven't already. Like the video, share it with somebody, do all that stuff. Just because it helps, and regardless of whatever is happening here, I still would like to grow the channel and get more people watching. I'm gonna keep getting things better and making things better and more interesting, more engaging to the best of my abilities. So I feel like I've been a little stagnant lately. I need to get some more ideas going on in my brain here. And like I said, it's just been busy and crazy. So I'm hoping that I get some good ideas coming to my head here soon. And change things up a little bit. I always like to do that and keep it fresh. But yeah, for now, we're gonna get into the normal going over stuff and seeing what's going on for the week and drinking my old fashioned. um Besides, let's see, I thought there was something else I wanted to talk about before we got going here. Probably not, because I'm not gonna remember. That's all right though. We're just here to have a good time and talk about some MMA and other combat sports, of course. So let's get that going because I'm ready to get into it. Let's do it. First off, we got, like I said, some boxing. I saw this all over, being advertised and stuff all over Vegas. Caleb Plant versus David Benavidez. So, I mean, it's looking like it's going to be a great fight. I haven't seen too much on Benavidez, but I've heard a lot about Plant. Watched him fight a couple times, and it looks like, I mean, he's a pretty damn good boxer. These are just some big names that everyone's talking about with this fight. The big boxing matches don't happen as often as big MMA fights happen, like UFC fights, obviously. So, you don't hear about them as often. There's some coming up the pipe here. Gervonta Davis versus Ryan Garcia. That's a big one. Everyone's talking about that. The fact that it's actually going to happen when they're both in their prime and when they're both just at basically the best time for them to fight each other, and they're actually going to fight each other. So, and that doesn't happen as often because it's like I'm trying to think of names here. How am I forgetting? Floyd Mayweather and I can't think of his damn name. Oh my god. Anyway, you know what I'm saying. All the big fights, they never happened in their prime. We waited 6 years for that Mayweather, and man, it's killing me. I'm gonna have to look it up because it's right there too. I know who he is. I can picture him, but I just can't think of his damn name. Mayweather versus, let's go. Show me. Oh my god. They're showing me all the YouTubers and not who I'm looking for. Well, whatever. You know who I'm talking about. It's gonna bug me, but that's okay. But yeah, Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia are gonna fight, so that's good. That's coming up. And then I just heard today that apparently Alexander Usyk and Tyson Fury are not fighting now. What up, Trend? Trend's in the chat. I'm glad you're here today, Trend. You're gonna want to hear some of this stuff coming up here soon. But yeah. I guess Usyk and Fury are not fighting now. I mean, this happens all the time though. Promotion stuff. Somebody's not getting what they want, so they're like, fight's off. We're not doing it. Blah blah blah. I didn't get a chance to look into all of it, but apparently that's not happening. I just saw some chatter on Twitter about how, Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia are doing it right, not letting people get in the way or letting anyone get in the way and just letting the fight happen. So, but anyway, back to Plant and Benavidez. Looks like Caleb Plant is the underdog, plus 285. David Benavidez is at minus 300, and that's at FanDuel. But yeah, if you're planning on watching that fight, those are the odds, which is weird because I would have thought, I don't know a lot about Benavidez though. I mean, I have heard his name here and there. I should probably get into boxing a little more. Maybe not watching all of it, but keeping up with a lot of it. But like Ryan Garcia's been all over the place on podcasts and stuff like that, just hyping up the Tank Davis fight. But this is one, like I said, I wanted to look more into it, but I just saw all the billboards and stuff on in Vegas. So I was like, yeah, I need to look into that one a little more. But anyway, it's a big fight that's happening this weekend, so I wanted to bring that one up. And then we have another one on Prime Video 8. So One Championship putting on their fight. This was supposed to be kind of a different fight, really. It was supposed to be Superlek versus Ratang, which would have been a dope ass kickboxing, kickboxing fight. But his Superlek is the flyweight world champ right now. But something happened. I think Ratang got an injury or something like that. So he's being replaced by Daniel Williams, fighting for the flyweight kickboxing world championship. So that's pretty dope. And then fighting for the atomweight Muay Thai world championship, we've got Alicia Helen Rodriguez, who is the current atomweight champ. And then she's fighting Jeanette Todd, who is the current interim atomweight Muay Thai champ. So that's a belt unification right there. Got, let's see, an atomweight MMA fight. MC Sohi and it's Suki Hirata. Oh man, I you know how I am with these names, these fucking names that I can't pronounce because I suck and I don't speak multiple languages. But I try my best. We got a featherweight MMA bout. Oh, this is funny. Oho Tech versus Akbar Abdulev. Yeah, I'm not going to go through all these, man, because I can't say half of these guys' names. Alex Silva versus Kyoto Yamakita, which I've heard of both those guys, so at least I know them. But anyway, like I've said before, One Championship has, they have Muay Thai fights, combat, jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, kickboxing, MMA, what else? Oh, submission grappling. I'm sorry, not combat jiu-jitsu, but submission grappling. So, yeah, they have all that going on at One Championship, and they always do multiple things. I just can't talk today. I need some, like, pills or something, some brain pills. Some of my gum or something to get my brain going here. I don't know what happened. But anyway, multiple different types of combat sports all rolled into one with One Championship. So, but keeping with the One Championship, we have a sad story here. Iuri Lapicus. Man, I knew how to say his name earlier, but He unfortunately passed away last week, I believe. I guess he was in, I don't remember exactly where he was, but he was riding a motorcycle and lost control and then got hit by a vehicle. So yeah, it was pretty unfortunate. I mean, he was pretty young, 95 to 23. What is that? 95, almost 30 years old. So yeah, 20. What am I saying? 95? Oh yeah, almost 30. So yeah, still really young. And you know, he had some big fights under his belt. And I mean, he's just one of the guys that was a 14 wins and 2 losses in was his overall record. Hold on, I'm trying to, yeah, Italy. He was in Italy. That's where it was. I wanted to see. They hadn't released a bunch of information. It was just one of those things. I guess he was in a coma for 3 days before he passed away, which is, man, lost control of his motorcycle, crashed into a vehicle. So yeah, that's tough, man. I'm trying to see. He fought Eddie Alvarez to a no contest decision. Huh, I did not know that was in 21. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just sad. I just wanted to acknowledge it because, you know, he's one of the bigger names in one championship. I had kind of forgotten he fought Eddie Alvarez. Alvarez has just had some of those. What up, Christo? Eddie Alvarez had one of those just weird runs in one championship. He's now gone from there. But yeah, anyway, RIP. I think it's Iuri. I think that's how you say his first name. I feel so bad for not being able to say his name, but it was all over the place. A lot of people were talking about it, and I just thought it was a sad thing. You know, I used to ride bikes. It sucks to hear somebody go down and pass away, losing control. You know, like, you never know, like, was he going too fast or was it just a freak accident? I mean, it doesn't really matter, but it's sad no matter what. So yeah, RIP to him, and I wish his family all the best. I mean, it's just a sad thing. Everyone at one championship was tweeting about it and posting about it, and, you know, obviously sad to hear about it. Such a young guy passing away with a lot of talent. So yeah, moving on, we have this is Jeff Molina. So this is another, I don't know what's up with all these like downers for topics today on Combat Sports News, but it is what it is. Jeff Molina is he's currently still under contract with the UFC, but he is actually suspended. So this dude's been having a rough 2023 so far, pretty much. So, you know, he got suspended from the UFC because he was involved with James Krause, which I'm sure you remember me talking about a few months ago. He was involved because I think James Krause was one of his coaches. Or no, I know he was one of his coaches, but I think that's as far as it went, but I don't know. It's still under investigation, so he wasn't able to talk about it, but he is suspended right now, but he is still under contract with the UFC, so he is a fighter at the moment. But anyway, he's only been fighting since like 2019, I think, in the UFC or something like that. But yeah, Jeff Molina. So he had some unfortunate stuff happen, and I just wanted to talk about it for a minute because, you know, this has also been all over the news, and it's one of those things that kind of pisses me off. Like, I don't care what kind of involvement he had in, you know, the James Krause stuff, which was basically like some kind of betting stuff that was happening. Maybe not fixing fights, but insider information type shit. So, but yeah, what happened to him is pretty shitty. So here's the thing, okay? Like, for me, I don't give a fuck. I don't care what anybody's sexual preferences are, okay? If you're gay, if you're straight, if you're bi, you know, any of that. I don't care. I don't care. It doesn't bother me at all. You know, I'm not gonna like not hang out with somebody because they're bi or because they're gay. I know gay people. I am related to gay people. I have friends that are, it doesn't even matter. None of it matters to me because I mean, I wouldn't not hang out with somebody. I wouldn't do anything of the sort because someone's gay, bi, trans, any of that stuff. I don't care. None of that bothers me, right? But this poor guy got outed, and not by his circumstances, for being bi. So this is his official thing, is he's bisexual. So he, someone decided that they had a personal vendetta against him and released some footage that apparently he was kind of unaware of, it seems like, that it actually existed, or he didn't think that it was something that would get out. I'm not exactly sure the details on that. He didn't go into it, but here's what he tweeted about. And I'm just going to blow this up for myself here, because if I don't, I'm going to be squinting at the screen and it's going to look very weird, and we don't want any of that. So, he says, "Not the way I wanted to do this, but the chance to do it when I was ready was taken from me. I've tried to keep my dating life private from social media. I've dated girls my whole life and suppressed feelings I had throughout high school, being on the wrestling team throughout college, pursuing MMA, and even after making part of the dream happen and getting into the UFC. I'm a pretty masculine dude, and that bro-y banter and sus sense of humor has always been how I am." So for context, real quick, before I keep going, he's just talking about the fact that he makes jokes about, like he said his example was, somebody will do something and I'll be like, "Oh, that's gay." He's just making a joke, right? So, and I know some people get offended by that and stuff like that, and I understand. But what he's saying here is he's always been that way. It's locker room talk type stuff, which is stupid, I know. But, he's just saying that, he's always had that kind of sense of humor. It's how he's always been. Anyway, going on. He says, "The thought of my buddies, teammates, and people I look up to looking at me different, let alone treating me different for something I can't control, was something I couldn't fathom. In a sport like this, where a majority of the fans being the homophobic cocksuckers they are, I didn't see myself doing..." Oh, man. I'm sorry. I didn't see myself doing this during this part of my career. I wanted to be known for my skills and what I've dedicated the last 11 years of my life. To oh my God. Okay, so he's got some stuff in here that's kind of like doubled up. That's why I'm hesitating or stumbling on my words. He says, "Not the bi UFC fighter" is what he didn't want to be known as. That I'm sure would just be translated to the gay UFC fighter. So he explained this in an interview I listened to earlier. Basically, he's saying if he's known as the bi UFC fighter, nobody's going to pay attention to his skills or his career or none of that. Basically, he's just going to be known as the guy that's bi. Excuse me. Oh man, I got the hiccups. Or they're just going to turn it into him being the gay UFC fighter. So that's what he didn't want. So that's why he was holding it back. He said, to the awful disturbed person that decided to post this ish, I hope it was worth it. At the end of the day, I know my character, morals, and who I am as a person. As much as I'm getting hated, shitted on, I'm getting an equal amount of support, and it means a fuck ton. So basically what he's saying, he's got all these, people talking shit online, talking about how he's this, that, all the homophobic slurs you can think of, he's being called. He said the first couple days was just horrendous. He tried to get ahead of it. He said that he's pretty much wiped the internet clean of this video that he knows of. So, you know, it's just a sexual act between him and a dude. And because he's bi. I mean, obviously, it's just like if a guy and a girl videotaped each other, you know, or videoed each other doing stuff to each other too, you know? It is what it is. Like, and if that got out, that someone didn't want it to get out, they'd be embarrassed by that too, you know? So it's just fucked up because, you know, people are talking mad shit, you know, of course, to be expected. That's how people are. And then you're in this sport that's like all about being a, you know, hardcore guy, like hardcore man, you know, like stuff like that. You got to be this tough dude. So yeah, it is what it is. It sucks. It sucks that he has to go through it. It sucks that he has this on top of the suspension going on. He doesn't even know what's happening with that. All this shit going down. And I just think it's fucked up. And I don't like that he's, you know, having to deal with it. That people, he said the person that put it out there had a vendetta against him, wanted some kind of apology that he said he didn't feel like he needed to give. Says the person has mental illness issues, so that's why he's not surprised that something like this would happen. But it just sucks for him. He's trying to do things on his own terms, and he's got people outing him and making shit hard for him, you know. So it just sucks. It sucks, and I feel bad for him. You know, I hope that he didn't have anything to do with the gambling stuff with James Krause, and that he wasn't like fixing fights or you know, giving out information that shouldn't be given out. But because he's mixed up with James Krause, he's under investigation. So I hope that goes well for him. And it sounds like he's got some peace with all this stuff happening with, you know, the video that was released and all that. But anyway, I just wanted to bring a little bit of attention to that. And I think it's, you know, nobody's really outright as far as the males that are in the UFC. You know, there's no one that's just outright gay, or has said it. So he's basically the first guy that's been outed as even bi, much less anything but straight. So, and you know, of course, now he's gonna have to deal with all that. And if people are gonna act weird because they don't want to train with him, or act weird because they don't want to fight him, that's yet to be known. So he's gonna have to find out about that if he gets cleared to come back in and fight in the UFC. So anyway, I think that's a fucked up thing. I didn't like it at all. I don't think it's fair that that were to happen to somebody. And I feel for the guy, and I hope that everything works out for him and he gets to go back to fighting as normal and, you know, just continue his career. So good luck with that, Jeff Molina. Moving on, we got UFC 286. Gonna recap this a little bit because, like I said, it was a fun night of fights. I didn't get to watch every single fight all the way through, but it was a pretty good night of fights. It's a good mix of submissions, decisions, TKOs, KOs. You know, nothing. There wasn't like an overwhelming amount of either one. But one of the fights I did, you know, I did kind of preview last week was Veronica Hardy or Masato versus Juliana Miller. So I was thinking Juliana Miller is going to probably get the win because I just seen her fight over and over. She's kind of got this crazy going at someone, and yeah, she's just like a pressure fighter, ready, you know, she's an Ultimate Fighter champion. But Veronica Hardy is the wife of Matt Hardy. This isn't WWE. Dan Hardy. I don't know if you remember the Hardy boys, but they were some of the guys I actually watched when I watched WWE back in the day. But Veronica Hardy is the wife of Dan Hardy, who used to be in the UFC. And yeah, looks like she's learned a lot from him because she looked pretty damn good in that fight. We had Chai Herbert versus Ludovic Klein. That was a majority draw, which is kind of crazy. I didn't even get to watch that fight. And I didn't even know it was a draw. So we got Joanne Wood, formerly Joanne Calderwood, against Luana Carolina, and she got that split decision win. So I'm happy for Joanne Wood because she's been kind of on a up and down type losing streak, and I was hoping that she would get the win and get things back on track, and that's something she did, so I'm happy for that. I was waiting. Yeah, she's coming off a 3-fight losing streak, which her last fight was against the current champ, Alexa Grasso. So, I mean, you can't say too much for it, but, 3 losses in a row, not usually a good thing in the UFC. That's about time they start deciding to let you go and cut you. So, I'm glad Joanne Wood got that win. Hopefully, this builds up a good win streak and tries to get her into contention so she could possibly fight for the belt. Let's see. Jake Hadley versus Malcolm Gordon. Hadley got the win. TKO. Christian Leroy Duncan wins over Dusko Tudorovic. God damn it. That was a knee injury. Apparently, Leroy Duncan is a badass, and everybody was waiting to see what kind of fight was going to get put up. And the poor dude didn't even, really get through. It was 1 minute and 52 seconds. And Dusko, I guess, had a knee injury. I didn't get to watch that one either. But that brings us to Muhammad Mokaev, which that one wound up pretty crazy. So check this shit out. Look at that knee. I mean, that leg is straight up and now being bent the wrong way. Holy fucking shit. Ah, man, that makes my knee hurt. Just look at that. That's the wrong way. You're not supposed to go that way. Oh man, that's fucked up. But yeah, that's Muhammad Mokaev getting his knee fucking annihilated, but against Rafael Filio. God damn it, man. I'm having trouble with names. But yeah, the fucking crazy part about this is that Muhammad Mokaev, who was getting his knee just trashed right there, he didn't tap, for one. So, I mean, that's a tough motherfucker. He said, I would let my knee break 4 times before I tapped. So, yeah, that's what kind of dude that is. But, he actually wound up getting the win. This happened in the 3rd round. So, with, less than 30 seconds left, he wound up getting a neck crank submission, which was pretty nasty as well. He pretty much turned that dude's head sideways and then put pressure back and then kept turning his... Yeah, I didn't get the picture of that one because honestly I couldn't find a good one. This was all over the place though because people were tripping out with that knee being bent that way. Oh man, fucking nasty. So yeah, Mokaev is a bad motherfucker. I mean, I don't know if that's stupid or if that's just tough, or maybe it's so tough that it's stupid. I don't know. But I'm just like, bro, and his knee was 3 times the size of its normal, size and shape. And he, couldn't even stand up after all this. So, I don't know. The adrenaline wears off and then you're fucked up after that. Pretty much. From what I understand and what I've seen. So, moving on, though. Let's see. Jack Shore versus Makwan Amirkhani. And Jack Shore did what he needed to do, and keep in that highly touted up and comer status. Because here's the thing, Makwan Amirkhani, I don't know what his deal is. He'll come out and win the first round, but then he just fucking lays down and chokes after that. I don't know why. He's got a lot of talent, and he seemed like a dude that was gonna rise up the ranks and be a contender. And he he looks great in the first round, but if it goes past the first round, it's not even really that he's gassed. It's like he loses he's deflated after the first round if he doesn't get the finish. So, and I think a lot of his finishes are in the first round, if I remember correctly. Funny thing is, I can look at it right now, but he's 17-9. This is his 2nd loss in a row. Look, he's got his past 2 losses, including this one, 2nd rounders. his last win was in the first round, 57 seconds. Then he has 3 losses, all second, third, and third round. Yeah, all of his wins are basically in the first round. Well, there's one in the second. But yeah, pretty much if it goes past the first round, he's not having it. So I don't know what that's about, but he needs to get his shit together because oh shit. All right. Mexican monster David Benavidez and Jesus El Mono Ramos by KO this weekend. Arizona stand up. All right. Manitas de what? Piedra? Oh, hands of stone. I got you. All right. Yeah. Shit. David Benavidez better do that shit then. Caleb Plant has a lot of he's got a lot of what do you call it? He's got a lot of I can't talk today. I'm all screwed up. He's got a lot of people behind him, just raising him up. So let's see what's up with that fight. You know what? I'm gonna try to make sure I at least catch those highlights right away after, or watch it as it's going. I think I gotta find out exactly where it's playing. But yeah, I'm interested. So anyway, moving on. Back to I'm sorry, where was I at? Jack Shore. He got that rear naked choke against Makwan Amirkhani. Second round. Amirkhani didn't, he tried to get out of it a little bit, but he tapped pretty quickly. So, that's a damn shame. Let's see. Jennifer Maia got the win against Casey O'Neill by decision. And then we move on to Gunnar Nelson versus Bryan Barbarena. Gunnar Nelson got himself a pretty ass armbar here. Look at that. Some elbows. And then he turns and transitions into that armbar. And he gets it fairly quick. Barbarena had nothing for him. So, yeah, that was a pretty quick submission. And it's nice to see Gunnar Nelson come back. I like Bryan Barbarena, but he, he's just one of those guys that he just can't put it together. So, if he gets frustrated, it's over pretty much. So, it sucks to see him go out like that, but at least he tapped fairly quick and didn't get his arm completely broken. But as far as Gunnar Nelson, he hadn't fought in I think it was about a year. Yeah, almost a year to the day. But before that, he hadn't fought in 3 years. So it seems like I haven't seen him in forever. So it's nice to see him come back and get a good win. And let's see where he goes from here. Moving on to one of them, probably the most exciting fights of the entire card. Justin Gaethje versus Rafael Fiziev. Or Fiziev. He said Fiziev is just fine. So that's what I kept calling him, but I heard a lot of people calling him Fiziev. I think it could be said either way. But as you can see, Justin Gaethje started off with some pretty nasty leg kicks. Something that he's pretty much known for. If he uses those leg kicks, he's gonna beat your legs up. But he kind of needed to do that because Fiziev was just quick with it, man. He had fast hands. He had fast kicks. For a little bit there, I was getting a little worried for Gaethje, but Gaethje's just such a tough motherfucker. He could take a punch, no doubt, with ease, pretty much. He gets wobbled, and then it's he's a whole new person after that, and it's over. You can't just jump on him. So, as you can see here, they're just trading elbows and punches and kicks. That's pretty much how this whole fight went. Fiziev tried to give some of those leg kicks back. That one looked like it hurt Gaethje pretty good in round 2. I think was it round 2 or round 1 that everyone was thinking. There was a lot of mix-ups, or a lot of mixed-up scorecards where a lot of people scoring things way differently. In the third round, Gaethje got Fiziev pretty frustrated. He couldn't land things like he was landing before. The second round, I think, is where he landed the most and the best strikes. As you can see, he's a little busted up here. Gaethje was getting the better of him. and then he really started landing, that big overhand right that Gaethje likes to land. It's a looping punch, but he always seems to find a home for it. And, and look at how quick he gets out of there to avoid that counter. If Fiziev thought of it, he could have turned around with an uppercut or a good quick right hook. But Gaethje's out of there so fast. Those quick feet and the movement, man. He's always making the best of it. And here's that tells a lot right there. Fiziev's already busted up right here. That's a pretty nasty deep punch. Like, props to the photographer on this one, because they definitely got a great shot on that. That's a great picture. And following it up with another great picture. Look at that. I mean, great in the way that, like, that's insane. Fiziev thought this was a dope ass picture. He said he loves it. But he's also a fucking savage. So, but yeah, he's all busted up. This was right after the fight. His eyes all fucked up. He's got cuts on both. Blood everywhere. It was pretty nasty. But that's what happens when you fight Gaethje. If he doesn't bust you up right away, he's gonna get at you at some point in time in the fight, and you're gonna end up with a lot of blood on your face, win or lose on your terms. But you're gonna get busted up because Gaethje's a bigger savage, and he fucks people up with volume and crazy looping punches. I was happy to see Gaethje get that win. I was a little bit worried. Like I said, Fiziev has quick feet and quick hands. He's so fast, it's crazy. He's in and out of there so fast. But Gaethje's just a different type of fighter and a different level of fighter. And while I think Fiziev could have gotten the best of him, this might be like a fight 10. They both win 5. But it was a good fight, and it was a good matchup. And because I like Gaethje so much, he's an Arizona guy, I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed seeing him win. So yeah, moving on to the main event. Leon doing it again with the iconic fucking poses and stares and everything else. He's not one of those guys that likes to talk a lot of shit, and he's not one of those guys that gets all hyped up and crazy. He did a little bit for the weigh-ins, for the ceremonial weigh-ins, but even Usman said, "Oh, now you're gonna talk," and Edwards is like, "Well, yeah, because now we're gonna fight, motherfucker." Like, if I don't talk at some point, that's just what happens. Everyone talks. It's just a matter of how much and what you're talking about, or you just go in there and let your hands do the talking. That's a little cliche, but so is all the shit talking. Some guys don't like to do it, some do. Leon is one of those dudes that doesn't really like to do it. He's not usually the one to talk a bunch, but he does. And this is just crazy, man. Like, watching, Usman does this all the time. This is when Bruce Buffer's announcing him, and every time Buffer's announcing Usman's name, he basically just makes his way over to the other side and does this whole like point down or stare down. I don't even know what the fuck he does. I can't even remember, because overshadowing that is what everybody was chanting, like throughout the press conference, throughout the weigh-ins, throughout everything. Headshot, dead. Headshot, dead. Headshot, dead. That's what everybody was chanting, which is pretty fucking harsh. But hey, that's how it goes, right? Fucking, that's what he did to Usman last one. I mean, I kept saying headshot, bang, dead, because that's pretty much what he said the first time. But I guess he shortened it up because everyone was chanting that shit and was all about it. And this is just showing right here is just a great picture, I thought, showing exactly what he's talking about. A lot of times this is taken as real disrespect and real, like, hey, you shouldn't do that, motherfucker. You're in the streets doing that shit. That means you're about to kill somebody, or you're throwing a threat out there. It's a fight game. It's a little different, but for him to do that was just, I don't know, just crazy. It's not something you see all the time, as he just sits there and goes like this to Usman's head. Oh man, it was kind of gave me goosebumps. I was tripping out a little bit on it, but I mean, he was vindicated in the end. He got the win. His coach was super happy for him, as you could tell. It was a little bit of a close fight. Not really. It could have been very close. I feel like it. I feel like Leon ran away with it. I feel like he did what was needed to. I feel like he did what was needed to get the win. And you know, he was getting the best of Usman with the striking. He was getting the best of him with the grappling, and not letting him take him down all the time as much as Usman's ready to do it. And I feel like he just frustrated Usman, and Usman didn't look like himself. So Leon started out and made a fight with those body kicks, as you can see right there. I mean, stumbled Usman. That's how hard he kicked him and how flush he got him in the gut with that kick. And you know, I think Usman was basically just waiting and wondering if that head kick was gonna come, because I think he was ready for it all night. There's tons and tons of pictures of him putting his hand up, you know, trying to block that head kick for everything, and instead he's getting torn apart in the legs and in the body, because Leon's got those kicks and he uses them everywhere. So he just showed that, you know, not only is he gonna get that headshot, but he's gonna oops, I pushed the wrong button. But he's gonna, you know, use them to the body, to the legs, everywhere. Here's some nice counter striking from Leon. You know, Usman kind of got him with that jab, little leaping jab, but Leon came back with the nice counter there. And then, I mean, Usman did what he does. He did take, you know, the wrestling into consideration and used it, and the fact that he's so good at it. And, you know, of course he took Leon down. I mean, Leon has good takedown defense, but Usman's a great wrestler, and that's all there is to it. So of course he's gonna, you know, that's a shot from pretty far away, you know, a single to like a high crotch, and then he took him down. I mean, a lot of people, you know, might be able to defend that a little more. I don't know if Leon gave a shit at the moment. He was kind of more like, whatever. But this is round 3, and other stuff that happened in round 3. Well, here's another thing. Usman took advantage of those takedowns here and there, though. You know, he got the back on this one, got a hook in, but, you know, Leon got his way out, and it wasn't too much of a threat, but it was pretty impressive for Usman to take that single leg straight to taking his back with a one hook in right away. It's pretty good. And then Leon did this, though, in the 3rd round, unfortunately, because he kept getting taken down. He grabbed the fence. Some other infractions happened. You know, he was accused, and actually, he actually did it. He was grabbing like the inside of the glove of Usman at one point in time, apparently. I mean, I did see where it looked like he did do it. And then this one where he grabbed the fence, like Usman was taking him down, no doubt about it. And then he grabs the fence. So Herb Dean was like, nah, can't have that. That was egregious. That was obvious. So he, you know, took a point. So right away, I mean, and Usman won the 3rd round for sure, I think. So, I mean, that should have been more like a 10-8 round, I think. I'm not sure what the scorecards actually said. I can't remember if that's what everyone thought it should have been. But either way, I mean, that's what could have made it a closer fight. But I do feel like Leon got the best of Usman, like, pretty much most of the fight. So, and he did throw in some of those head kicks as well. Wow. Maybe not. I think I might have put the wrong. What did I do here? Hold on. There we go. Well, apparently my buttons are all messed up. That's all right. Let me just look right here real quick. Yeah, I guess I messed something up here. Whatever. It is what it is. let's move on to... Oh, now I'm going to have to fix it. Damn it. This is what happens when you, when you're in a hurry and you do things too fast. But yeah, here's another one of those pictures. You know, if you remember, one of the, like, iconic pictures from the, one of the iconic pictures from the last fight was him staring at the camera when they were getting, when Herb Dean was telling him to touch gloves, and Usman's down looking at him, kind of doing this, and Edwards isn't looking at him, he's looking at the camera. That was like one of those really cool fucking pictures that was taken from that fight. Here's another one. Usman's talking shit and Edwards is just like, yep. So, yeah, that was one of the ones I thought was pretty dope. So I wanted to show that one. Hold on one second. We get to this. All right. But anyway, yeah, Leon with the win. I like seeing it. I mean, I think Usman is just a different fighter now. I think his knees are a constant problem. I'm not so sure that he's going to be one of those guys that loses his belt and just can't come back and get back to it. I just feel like he's at that point of his career, and Leon has his number, and that head kicks made him a different person and a different fighter. So I guess we'll have to see. Looking forward to both their next fights. Leon might be fighting maybe Colby Covington, which is annoying, because Colby did weigh in and was the backup fighter for this fight, but I can't stand Colby Covington. So I hope he doesn't get this fight, but at the same time, maybe he does, and Leon, you know, shuts him up, even though he's gotten his ass whooped before and still hasn't shut up. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. Moving on. UFC on ESPN 43. So this is taking place in San Antonio, Texas. This Saturday. I gotta look and see. Actually, I think it said the main card starts at 4 p.m. But I'm gonna double check. Yeah, main card starts at 4. Prelim cards start at 1 p.m. So, yeah. And that'll be on ESPN, obviously. Yeah, Marlon Vera versus Cory Sandhagen. This should be a great fight. Actually, I've been looking forward to this fight for a while. It was supposed to have happened a few weeks ago, but they moved it, or maybe like a month ago, but they moved it out of the Apex and into an actual arena where they can have fans and stuff like that. So I was happy about that, but it just sucked that we had to wait a little bit longer for it to happen. But this should be a pretty exciting fight. Looking at the rest of the card, there's not a whole ton of notable fights going on, but we got Trevin Giles versus Preston Parsons. Trevin Giles is someone I do know. Preston Parsons, though, I don't think I've really heard of him. Either way, it's a welterweight fight. Let's see who else we got. Daniel Pineda versus Tucker Lutz, which, again, not so sure. Pineda's got a pretty hefty record, though, 27-14. That's a featherweight bout against Tucker Lutz, which is a hilarious name. He's 12-2. Oh, man. I feel like I gotta sneeze. All right, maybe not. Whew, all right. I don't think I'm gonna sneeze, so that's good. Anyway, starting off the main card, it's gonna be Chidi Njokuani versus Albert Durev. But it's funny. Njokuani, his first name is Chidi, so his nickname's Chidi Bang Bang, which is kind of funny. He's coming off a loss to Gregory Rodriguez, though. Before that, he was on a 4-fight win streak. Looks like he's Let's see. He hasn't fought anybody. Rafael Carvalho, he lost to. Not too many big names. Melvin Gillard, if you remember Melvin Gillard from back in the day, but he fought him in Bellator. So, Njokuani's coming from Bellator, so that's pretty interesting. And he was on Dana White's Contender Series. Looks like he fought in Bellator for a little while. Damn, he had a pretty long span in Bellator. Anyway, oh jeez. Moving on. Albert Durev. I think that's how you say it. He's coming off a loss as well to Joaquin Buckley. Before that, he has one other win in the UFC. He also came from Dana White's Contender Series. A lot of those guys on these cards these days. But next fight on is Alex Perez versus Manel Kape, or I don't think it's Kape. I think it's Kape. Anyway, more names that I just seem to screw up, or I feel like I screw up. But Alex Perez, he is coming off 2 losses in a row, one being to Deiveson Figueiredo, though. So, I mean, that's one of those fights that there's not much you can do about that. He's an ex-champ. Lost to him by submission in 2020. Before that, he was on a 3-fight win streak. He beat Jussier Formiga. Lost to Joseph Benavidez. Yeah, so he's 24-7. Looking like I didn't see the man, I am getting so sidetracked. I gotta focus. Against Manel Kape, though. Starboy, huh? He must be a weekend fan. He's coming off he's on a 3-win fight streak. A 3-fight win streak. His last fight coming off David Dovrek, unanimous decision, TKO, KO. So yeah, flying knee and punches to Ode Osborne. Damn. Oh, I'm sorry. I meant to change the so this was 2 fights ago for him. As you can see, he's got some heavy hands. He won that fight by TKO punches, so he did get the finish after this, which was, he already had him stressing there and wobbled. So yeah, it's looking like this could be a pretty exciting fight. Manel Kape, I think is how you say it. I'm looking for him to get that win more than likely. But yeah, moving on. This is a fight I'm excited for. Andrea Lee versus Maycee Barber. So Maycee Barber, her nickname's the Future, because she claimed she was going to become the new youngest UFC champion, because she figured she was going to try to, but she had some unfortunate injuries. She's now 24. She was trying to be the UFC champ at like 21. So yeah, like I said, unfortunate. I think knee injuries and maybe something else, but I mean, she's still a pretty damn good fighter. And Andrea Lee is one of those girls that came from Invicta. She's got 13 wins and 6 losses. She's coming off a loss, but I mean, she's got some striking for sure, and submissions as well. I mean, a lot of her fights go to decision, but as you can see here, she's relentless with those knees. She's got a lot of punches. I mean, she's got good punches as well, and she actually beat yeah. She actually beat Cynthia Calvillo. The corner, it was a corner stoppage. So I'm actually, and she beat Antonina Shevchenko, which is Valentina Shevchenko's sister. So she's got some losses though. Roxanne Modafferi, Lauren Murphy, Joanne Wood. That's actually one of those Those are three big names. It's hard to, you know, say that those are bad losses. They were all decision losses. So, you know, that's how women's fighting goes sometimes, though. They just don't seem to have a ton of finishes. But like I said, I am excited for this one because I like watching Maycee Barber fight. She's one of those, she's always coming out there to have a great fight. She's got great knees as well. 11-2 is her record. She is on a 3-fight win streak right now. Just beat Jessica I, Montana De La Rosa, and Miranda Maverick. All good names, all good fighters. All by decision, though. Before that, she lost to the now champ Alexa Grasso and Roxanne Modafferi as well. She did say she wants that fight against Alexa Grasso back, so she's looking to, you know, get up there in contention to get that title shot and hopefully get the win back against Alexa Grasso. Alexa just outclassed her on the ground, unfortunately for her, so she needs to work on that ground game a little more before she gets that shot. She's also coming from Dana White's Contender Series. Back in the day when it first started, I think she was from the first season, 2018. Second season. But yeah, she's just somebody to look out for. She has a lot of confidence and she displays it. And I feel like she's gonna be one of those fighters that's gonna have a good career, and she's gonna be fighting for the title at some point in the near future. But moving on, we got Nate Landwehr versus Austin Lingo. And if you remember, Austin Lingo fought a month ago, maybe. Wasn't very long ago because I remember covering him not that long ago. It's funny because I from anything I remember his tats. But Nate the Train Landwehr, 16-4. a lot of people like this dude. I don't know that much of him. I know him by his nickname, Nate the Train, which is pretty funny, you know, Nate the Train. But yeah, I don't recall having watched any of his fights too closely or anything. So, I mean, that's my bad, I guess. But I keep hearing about him. He is coming off 2 wins. Against Ludovic Klein, who I talked about earlier, I believe, and then David Onama, decision and submission, anaconda choke. Looks like he is mostly winning by TKO or KO, which is good. Let's see. Yeah, he had a loss, a win, a loss, and now 2 wins in a row. Looking for his third against Austin Lingo. And like I said, he's usually winning by TKO or KO. He has a couple decisions in there, 1 submission. Let's see, fighting against Austin Lingo, who is 9-1, I believe. Yeah, he's coming off 2 wins. So his last fight was in 2021. Okay, that's why I remember, because his fight actually got scrapped at the last minute, if I remember correctly. Like, say on the night of the event, his fight got canceled. I don't exactly remember why, but he hasn't fought since August of 2021. Damn. So he's got two wins in 2021, January and August. So those are, man, he's got a lot of time without fighting, which is unfortunate that his last fight got canceled. A lot of decision wins. He hasn't been in the he's 2-1 in the UFC. His first fight, his debut fight, was a loss. Hasn't fought too many big names, so that'd be probably why I don't know the dude very well. Either way, he's 9-1 overall. His only loss in MMA is in the UFC. So we'll see what he's got for Nate the Train. But moving on to another big fight that I'm looking forward to. Holm versus... So I put Yana Kunitskaya, because that's her name, right? But she is listed as Yana Santos, because I don't know if anybody remembers, Thiago Santos, that's actually her now husband, and she actually just came off of having a baby her first kid with Thiago Santos. His nickname was Maheta, which was, he's got this like big old Thor's hammer in his chest with the like piece coming down the middle of the handle. If you remember him, that's his nickname was the Hammer. But yeah, so she is now married to him and just had his kid. So this is her first fight back since then. But she's got a big feat ahead of her with Holly Holm. You know, and it's not Holm. What, you don't like Holm Chin or what? I don't remember if you like her or not, but I'm assuming not by that comment. But yeah, Holly Holm, 14-6. You know, she's a badass. You know, she's fought for the title a few times, and she's got some great knockouts, great highlight reel against Bethe Correia here, which I was happy to see because I do not like Bethe Correia. She's just annoying. Just watching this clip annoys the fuck out of me. I don't like her, and I'm so happy to have seen her gotten knocked out like that. I know, another fighter I talk a lot of shit about, but whatever. It's not in the UFC anymore anyway. Anyway, Holly Holm is coming off of a loss to Ketlen Vieira. It was a split decision, so it wasn't like a dominant loss or anything like that. But before that, she had 2 wins, Irene Aldana and Raquel Pennington. And that was all after she fought for the title and lost to Amanda Nunes, which was a pretty bad loss. Head kick. But can't stand that woman, to be honest. Great knockouts, but something about her pisses me off. Oh, that's right. And I'm sure it has to do with the fact that she fought Nunes. But Nunes knocked her the fuck out, so but also you might hate her because she knocked out Ronda Rousey like this, which was fucking savage. I mean, that head kick, it was like half on the chin, half on the neck. It just looks so bad watching Ronda Rousey, like her face all bloodied up, getting kicked out and knocked out cold. The way she fell, everything. But yeah, this catapulted Holly Holm. Oh, I'm sorry, I said she fought for the belt. She actually won the belt at one point in time. But she's fought for the belt a couple other times as well. But yeah, she knocked out Holly Holm. That's her most famous thing for sure. And oh, I'm sorry, she knocked out Ronda Rousey. She didn't knock herself out. But yeah. So yeah, she's got these crazy kicks and knockouts. But a lot of times she does go to decision. I mean, her last 3 fights were either wins or losses by decision. She lost by head kick. Her wins decision. Win by KO. We just watched that. Everything is like decision though. I mean, if it's not a spectacular knockout like this, it's a not a submission, a decision. So, but you know, Yana, now Santos, has some good striking as well. I mean, she basically, well, let's see, she hasn't fought since 2021, obviously, but she's lost, her last loss was to the same person that Holly Holm lost to, which was, oh wait, was it Irene Aldana? No, Holly Holm lost to Ketlen Vieira. My bad. Anyway, so she beat Ketlen Vieira, surprisingly. All right. She beat her by unanimous decision, but her last loss was to Irene Aldana, TKO punches. So yeah, she's got one of those records too. This is her against Aspen Ladd, which she did wind up losing. Yeah, it's like loss, win-win, loss, win-win, loss. So if the streak goes the way that it's gone before, she's due for a win. But we'll see how she comes back after having the baby. You never know how a fighter's gonna recover from something like having a kid. You know, is the mom's strength gonna come out like the dad's strength does, or you know, is her body not the same after having a kid? You know, most of these girls bounce back pretty quick because they're in really great shape and condition. And, you know, they wind up getting right back to it. Plus all the good habits and sacrifice and dedication to, keeping their bodies good for fighting. So when it comes down to it, I mean, she might not have a lot to deal with, but everyone has a different reaction to something like being pregnant and having a kid. So whether you're a fighter or in great shape or not great shape, everyone, reacts differently. Anyway, I'm excited for that fight. And now we move on to the main event, which is the biggest fight and the best fight of this card, I think. And I think it will be the best fight of this card. Marlon Vera never involved in a boring fight, and neither is Cory Sandhagen. Yeah, I don't even know, man. I don't have a prediction for this, honestly. I don't know who's gonna win. When it comes down to it, their records, it's like 27-1 for Marlon Vera. Cory Sandhagen is 15-4-0. So I mean, it's kind of, the records don't tell a lot. But when it comes down to the fighting itself, I mean, like I said, Chito Vera's not ever in a fucking boring fight, and this is why. He does things like this to legends like Dominic Cruz. That head kick, I mean, look the way Cruz fell. You knew he was out and done, and this isn't like some beat up old Cruz. I mean, Cruz still has a lot of fight in him, and I mean, Chito got him good. And this was his last fight, which was last year in August. So it hasn't even been a year. But he's on a 4-fight win streak. He also did this, unfortunately, to Frankie Edgar. Look at that. Oh my God, that fucking head kick. That's one of those nasty ones like Vitor Belfort. I mean, Anderson Silva did to Vitor. Vitor did it to fucking somebody. Machida did it to Randy Couture, knocked out a tooth. These kicks are just nasty. The toes under the chin like that. Poor Frankie Edgar, man. But yeah, Vera's last loss was in 2020 to Jose Aldo. He beat Sean O'Malley before that. Lost to Song Yadong before that. But yeah, I mean, a lot of wins by TKO or submission. Or KO. His last 2 wins by KO were front kick, head kick knockouts. So, yeah, I'm looking for fireworks. And Chito Vera is definitely one that's going to give them to you. But Cory Sandhagen is no fucking joke either. He also does crazy shit like flying knees. And unfortunately, Frankie Edgar has been a victim to both these guys. And I feel fucking bad for even showing these, being that it's Frankie Edgar both times, but they're just great knockouts. He's a legend. It's hard to not show that. I mean, oh man, I can't believe Frankie got knocked out like this twice in the same year. If I remember correctly, he got knocked out that way. Yeah, 2021. Fuck. But Song Yadong is actually somebody that Chito Vera lost to, and that was Cory Sandhagen's last win. TKO doctor stoppage. Before that, though, Sandhagen lost twice. Once to Peter Yan, once to TJ Dillashaw. Both by decision, though. TJ's fight was split decision. So, oh man, before that, Frankie Edgar and Marlon Moraes got those wins. Aljamain Sterling, he lost to. Which Aljo fucked up his win streak, man. That was 5 fight win streak before he faced Aljo and lost to him. But yeah, I mean, Sandhagen also did this to Marlon Moraes, this crazy wheel kick knockout. It was contested a little bit with a bit of an early stoppage, according to Moraes, but I mean, still, that's pretty impressive. Just to jump on him like that. Those are the kind of dynamic and crazy strikes that he does. So, like I said, this neither one of these guys are ever in a boring fight, and I'm expecting it to be crazy, exciting, and entertaining for sure. For this This is one of those fights I have to watch live. So no matter what I'm doing Saturday, I'm gonna have to. Oh shit! I'm gonna be at a birthday celebration, but we're gonna be chilling. So I'm gonna have to have my phone open. Sorry, guys. But I'll be watching. Anyway, I can't wait for that fight. It's gonna be a good one. But yeah, that about wraps it up. I'm happy. Not too many technical difficulties. I went through everything and I still had a fucking problem, but that's okay. That's what happens. But you know what? Overall, I made it. I'm here. I got through everything. I hope you all enjoyed it. Thanks to Tren and Cristo in the chat. Manitas de Piedra. I can't say it very well because I suck at speaking Spanish, but whoever you are, thanks for joining in too and you know commenting. I appreciate that. Hopefully you subscribed and you liked the video and you come back and join us again. Yeah, next week, Thursday, I will have something for you. Not exactly sure what. Oh, we'll definitely recap this because like I said, I guarantee Cory Sandhagen and fucking Chito Vera are gonna have a fantastic fight, and there's gonna be plenty to talk about. Holm and Yana Santos. I mean, Maycee Barber. There's enough fights on here that I think will be a good recap day and some good highlights. And we'll see what else pops off during the week and this weekend. And I'll see what other kind of events are going on next weekend. But as far as this week goes, that's it. I'm done. We made it. I didn't fuck up too bad. And hopefully next week I will not be behind. I will be ahead like the few weeks before, because before I was doing pretty well. But you know what? I took a vacation. It was what needed and deserved, I think. So fuck it, right? I had to stress a little, but when don't I stress? But on that note, I'll take my last sip. I will say thank you again. Don't forget to share this video with somebody. Like it. Subscribe if you haven't. Oh, and catch the Rumble podcast on the Rumble Podcast YouTube channel, or go to the rumblepodcast.com. We are live on Sundays and Tuesdays, 7 p.m. Arizona time. Sundays we do a draft, and we draft either our favorite things, or most hated things, or random things. And on Tuesdays we usually talk about tech stuff or whatever else comes up. So join us there. It's rumblepodcast.com. Go check it out. Follow me everywhere. Going Rounds Podcast everywhere. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Twitter is Going Rounds Pod. Follow me everywhere. Like my stuff. And come back here next week. Same time and place. And I'll have more for you. All right? Thanks again for joining me. Have a good night. Talk to you guys later. Peace.